I would say there is some different expectations. What I've realized, and it's a terrible thing to say, but the truth is, when I'm in an audience and I'm teaching, if there's 50 people, how many of them really are going to stay serious and focus, and who wants to see the level of illness we see? I've had people come to our clinic, and when they see these patients say, I'd be too scared to treat these people. I don't want to do this. This will give me nightmares at night. So wherever I'm teaching, I teach to my full ability, and I am friendly to all. That said, I am aware that in that audience, there's maybe only 10%, 20% who are going to really, whose practices are going to change because of what I do. And of that number, there's maybe 10% that is really going to take this medicine and go somewhere. And in China, maybe the percentage is slightly higher, but not a lot. The difference when I teach in China is I teach bilingually. I prefer to mostly teach in Chinese because that's how I learned the medicine. But I'm, for lack of a better word, I'm a much sharper, less polite teacher over there. Because, you know, I learned under people who had no problems insulting you when you got something wrong. They were sharp of tongue and demanding, and that does show up when I teach in Chinese, that sort of lack of putting up with silliness. But for the most part, I try and keep the training the same until I get to know people. And then you'll have people who will spend more time with me. And there's no secrets. I don't have anything more secret. But as people spend more time with me, then I become much more demanding. And they go, what happened to this nice guy who's now all of a sudden like, no. And I think that's important as well, as how can we make it easy to interface in the beginning and yet be demanding at the end? Because the truth is, seeing the seminars and the conferences in the West, I see a couple of patterns. Doesn't mean everyone's like this, but there's a couple of stereotypes. And what was it one of the British said when I was training in London? He said, oh yeah, the problem with all these teachers is they may have something good, but they're just wankers. You know, they're not nice, they're jerks. They think they're great, or they have this arrogance or this idea that I've got this lineage, and you know, it doesn't do you any good. So what, you have a lineage? How are you going to do with patients? You know, the Neijing says 6 out of 10, you're a low doctor. How many people can get even 6? I mean, what's there to be arrogant about? And then you have others who've just kind of switched to autopilot, and they have their things that they sell, and they come and do the conferences. And what I think is missing is that in between, someone who genuinely cares and is accessible, and then as the numbers become narrow, they genuinely care and they are concerned about your personal skill, and the relationship changes, and yet it's the same teacher. And so I do strive very hard to be very accessible, friendly in the opening classes, and then as people filter and I get more and more serious students, then what was, yes, that's okay to try, is not okay to try anymore, because I need to trust their skill set. And so I would say the biggest difference is not so much my teaching East or West, but that my teaching changes as I get to know the students better and better through more exposure.